The sun rose slow on a broken town. Factories closed, machines shut down. Promises made, but none were kept. Dreams turned to dust while the people wept. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. The tariffs came, they hit like a storm. Families braced to keep their homes warm. A pause was given, a moment to act, but the time was wasted, that's a hard fact. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. Leaders spoke with words so grand, but their hollow deeds we can't withstand. The people begged, the people cried, now hope's a stranger on this side. Misery's knocking, poverty's near, a future clouded by doubt and fear. If only they'd fought to make things right, we wouldn't be lost in this endless night.
And skies so blue, mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder then shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than the shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies, they weave their weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Believe that crowns may crumble, that thrones may forms may fall, for the power is the people above it all. We know it all.
I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
The heck is going on here? That's another time that's happened. I already turned that off. I know you guys can hear me. Wow, sorry about that. I turned that off and it didn't go off. Also, I had set up, my software just jumped around. I had set up to play the intro video, and then all of a sudden it was playing Baby Chris, which I can't play anymore because I got bogus copyright claims on that. Sorry about that, folks. Welcome back to the program. It is Monday, July 21st, 2025. We had a demented crap weasel who needs to seek mental care, really needs to seek help for his demented lies and his racist obsession, and I think, love affair with me. Needs to find something else to do in life. Showing up in the chat. I can also let you know that demented crap weasel also sent a threatening email to the Free Market Foundation, threatening them for appearing on the program. Free Market Foundation has been on this program multiple times over the past several years. So that person really needs to seek care. If you're here, I urge you, please, there are mental health experts located in Europe, in South Africa, who can help you with whatever affliction you're suffering from. And I mean this from a place of love and kindness. You clearly need some help. And I don't know what your obsession with me is, but it's not going to end well for you. I'm not interested in dating you. I'm not interested in having a coffee with you. You seem like a very disturbed person. And I just think that you really should seek care. I think everyone wishes you well in your bizarre worldview that really needs some electroshock therapy. Electroshock therapy might help you with that problem. Thoughts and prayers for Maddie, who was robbed. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Dory says, I used to connect YouTube from my phone to my TV. That way I can chat with you guys. Lately, I just can't connect the two devices. Dory, I'm not sure what the issue is. Someone might be able to help you with that. Yeah. All right, folks. You have no idea, Creativeness. That clown threatened Supersport. He threatened a financial advisor who offered free financial advice to people on how to legally move their money around in South Africa. Threatened them because he's just a sick, twisted person who really needs care. He really needs some mental health care. I don't know what his obsession with me is. He falsely categorizes me. He misquotes me. He alters videos, and he lies about me. He also takes things out of context and just spends 5 years looking for things, and he's found 3 things he claims where I'm a racist. Of course, his commentary is racist every single time that he attacks me. Obviously, he doesn't like white males, so I don't know why he wants to date me. It's very confusing. Oh, no, I've had this stalker for a while. I got him from Steve Hofmeyer. Thank you, Steve. I got your stalker. Yep. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that appointment. Did that just happen? That must have just broke that news about appointing people's men. No, that's not listed anywhere. The IFP has called for, they've endorsed the national dialogue, which is a waste of time. That's a disappointment in Velanconia Labisa. That's a very big disappointment. But he says that 700 million rand is too much. Well, I think 5 cents is too much for that nonsense. Oh, Ingrid, yeah, this guy's an idiot. This guy's an idiot. He's not well. He came into the stream earlier. He tries this all the time. He threatens people. This is one reason why sometimes I don't announce my interviews because, yeah, Steve knows, Rex. It's been going on since 2023. Ever since Steve was supposed to be on that Dutch cruise liner going to Namibia. And then because of that guy who claimed to have some big backing, he's got no backing. He's just got some fictitious little group that he's created that has a couple hate wankers that follow him that are really twisted individuals. I think he makes up all the accounts, to be honest. That's how few people follow him. But when Steve was supposed to be the headliner for that cruise, he threatened the Dutch travel company, saying Steve Hofmeier's a racist, which he's not. And they backed out last minute. They didn't change anything until it was too late. You know, they canceled him last minute, and all these people were upset. And I did a video. I didn't know this guy from Adam, and I didn't even know he's the one that did this. I just know the Dutch company canceled Steve Hofmeier. So I did a video and said, that's a bait and switch. They've known for weeks, and they did know for weeks that they were not going to have Steve Hofmeier on that cruise, but they continue to let people book expecting to come see Steve perform. And so that's a bait and switch. So they canceled Steve last minute. I said, if I were a consumer going on that cruise line, I would cancel my cruise and demand my money back. And I think 45 to 60 people actually did that after watching my video, which really pissed this guy off. And so I don't know why. He hurt people far greater than I did. Anyway. He's looking for love abroad. You're right, Side Offer Connor. Yep. Nkabani's been fired. Okay, Awkward Liam, that's not being announced anywhere in the press yet. Teresa, I'm sorry you're having buffering. No, it's not a Burmese, trust me. Okay, Dory, you've already posted that once, and now your message is being deleted. Okay, so you're going to have to take the time to look it up on Google how to do something. Google's your friend. Avi sold the solar system for the money to get passports. Okay, Avi, I'm glad that's gone well for you. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. Real loonies out there. I had a guy threaten to kill my family because we slaughter and eat our own animals. Militant vegan who spends more time in mental institutions than out in public. Yeah. Marcel knows. That was with the MSC group. That's correct. That's correct. Joy Theron, once again from one colonel. I guess the F means female to another. Thank you, Joy. What was your specialty? Yes, Google is your friend, folks. Google can help a person with that issue on how to overcome not being able to link your devices. Okay, I'm not sure how you were linked in the first place, but this is not a. Sometimes users can help, but no one's offered help, so obviously nobody has it. Yeah, invite him to Vegas. Yeah, I don't think he's going to come to Vegas. Anyway, yeah. So, thank you guys. All right, let's get to the news. Thanks. It's a Monday, folks. Caught up on all the lives and videos I missed. You were working hard, Colonel. Watched the rugby commentaries. Well, yeah, I know, but we had almost nobody watch on Saturday. Folks, just telling you the facts, Saturday was the lowest viewed day since January, and we didn't do much better the next day. Sunday, we dropped from 185,000 views on Sunday, the 13th of July, to 32,000, 150,000 views less on Saturday, and then just 45,000 Sunday. Hopefully that's picking up today. It looks like it is a little bit, but I guess a slow news cycle. Okay. He can flood his inbox. Well, I mean, that's what he's trying to do to other people. So you guys want to find him and do that, you're welcome to. I'm not encouraging anything. I'm going to watch from bed under the blankets, freezing in the West Coast. All right, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but it is wintertime. That explains it. By the way, do you like my AI-generated image of the cock prodder with the spiffy hair living in the mansion in Santon City, typing that only certain people be selected? I thought I'd show you somebody who's wealthy and connected. Sloat, that's just for you. I mean, I did it in your image. Spent on buying something from... no, I didn't see what they spent. Sloat Steenkamp, Happy Slappy. We've talked about this guy. I don't know. It's not his real name. He's a very disaffected and person who needs a lot of help. Neil De Beer is doing very poorly. Chart very poorly. I'm in contact with Neil and with friends of his, and he's not doing well. Well, thank you if you like my shirt. This is a U.S. Army shirt, built to serve and protect. Speaking of which, I need to go back into the War College today to pick up something. I want to do an interview with the folks over there and talk to them about the Army's 250th anniversary. A South African citizen of a foreign country that's been spreading hatred on every media platform for years against white Afrikaners. He's a despicable person. Yep, that's correct. That's who he is. That's who he is. And people don't know who he is. They actually become frightened from him. He's just a sad, demented person. Sloat, and I know you're listening. You're the one that always gives me a dislike on the videos. Dude, seek care. Really seek care. I mean, I don't know why you're so demented against me and lying about me. I mean, you know, I've saved hundreds of thousands of black South Africans. I promote black, white, brown South Africans. I promote Tswana and Setswana, which are languages spoken almost exclusively by black South Africans, except second language speakers. So I don't know why you're demented with your racist bullshit. You really, really, really need to seek care. So this one's for you, Sloat. This one's for you. You know, it's been a while in coming. It's been a while in coming. We've never done this specifically for you because, you know, I don't like to bother you because I know you've got issues. But you know, we brought this one just for you. So I mean, you know, it's time, Sloat. It's time. You really need to say hello to my little friend. It's time to say hello. Honestly, it's time, Sloat.
Go on by, say whatever. Hop to the left, bunny's on the scene. First so clean, move sharp, he's mean. Eyes like fire, trolls start to quake. Mess with the bunny,
big mistake.
Stagger off, bunny protector of peace. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Bugger off, bunny protector of peace. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Connell's right hand and ears standing tall. One thumb from the foot sends them through the wall. Carrots in the pocket, wisdom in his paw. Trolls see the bunny, drop their jaw. Bounce, 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 the rhythm don't stop. Trolls try to climb but the bunny's on top. Guarded the guardian, defender of the land. The bugger off bunny with the master plan. Bugger off bunny. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Swift as a shadow, silent in the night. Trolls meet the bunny, then they take flight. Ears like antennas, catching every sound. The bugger off bunny, king of the ground.
Yeah, man, the Jamaica version Bugger Off Bunny. Yes, Sloat wants attention. He wants attention. Yes, I know Sloat Steenkamp is a fictional character. I'm well aware of that. Thank you so much for that, Fluffy. I appreciate that. Yes, we're very well aware of that. We know it's a pseudonym for someone who is hiding. He attacks me with his racist bigotry and hate-filled speech all the time, and my guest, but he hides behind a pseudonym. But people know who you are, Sloat. They know where you live. They do. They do. And you will rot in hell for your evil conduct. Trust me. If there's an afterlife, it won't be pleasant for you. All right, folks. He wants attention. He got it. I have not spoken about that clown for ages, but he is definitely cruising for a bruising, as we say in America, which means you're looking for trouble. Okay? All right. So welcome back to the program, those who are showing up late. Exactly, Krista. It's sad if your only accomplishment in life is to trash people with actual accomplishments. Yep. That's why the bunny. That's why the bunny. Right, in South Africa in April 2024, and people were afraid to something. If you're not over friendly, I have no idea what Russell Gratz is saying there. It wasn't really a slow news cycle with the Epstein attack and Crossfire hurricane counter. No, it was pretty slow news. There were very few stories in the Wall Street Journal, in the Washington Times, in the Washington Post, in the Los Angeles Times, in the New York Times. Found very few stories of interest over the weekend. Yep. Yes, PK is something he's looking for. Cruising for a bruising. All right, folks, let's get to the news. We got 668 people here. 669. Ooh, there you go. 668 is a number that I love. It's the address of one of the places I lived a long, long time ago. It's drilled into the head. 668. It's the road. State Route 668 South. Yep. And Vika's Hutton's birthday. Okay, well, we need to deal with that because we missed a birthday yesterday for Mr. Moon. So apologies for that. I didn't see that. So happy birthday. This is for Mr. Moon yesterday. Okay. All right. Happy birthday belated to you. You know, with so many viewers, it's easy to miss birthdays here. We only had a handful of viewers before, and that's another reason why Slot's feelings are hurt. My channel has over 100,000 subscribers despite his efforts to dissuade people and falsely convince them that I'm some sort of evil person. And this one's for you, Vikas. Happy birthday to you. Chris Ehlers, I hope you're doing better. Chris, your health hasn't been particularly well. I hope you're doing well. I got to meet Chris at the Open Plus meet and greet. Chris put that together. It was awesome. Thank you so much for that meet and greet, which was just epic, Chris. And I really apologize I had to go. I would love to have spent the entire afternoon there with folks. It would have been incredible. But I did have to run off to do the interview with Theo van Staden, which has turned out to be something epic. So I appreciate that. Edwin Wolfart, welcome to you. You're very welcome, Vika. It's my pleasure. And apologies for missing Mr. Ian Moon's birthday yesterday. I think some of you congratulate him. Folks, it's happened. The pilots at Fly South Air have gone on strike, and they've stranded South Africans all over the place. Very selfish, very selfish. I'm sorry, I don't have empathy for people who go on strike. If you provide an essential service, you have no right to take a strike. You know, if you are flipping burgers, you want to take a strike because you think your work conditions are poor, I have no problem with that. I can get a burger somewhere else. But when you are aviation safety, when you're an aircraft company, when you're pilots, when you're flight attendants, when you're ground crew, when you are the people responsible for avgas and refueling aircraft, when you are military, you are police, and you strike, you get no sympathy from me whatsoever. I'm sorry. And I know I probably got a few Fly South Air pilots who are watching this. That's very selfish, you guys. Very, very selfish. People rely on those flights to get from place to place. People will die because they didn't get to see, their family member didn't get to see them. They'll die without seeing their family member because you failed to provide a service that you have committed to doing. So if the Bugger Off Bunny makes the Billboard charts, you're going to know you have to do tours. Well, if the Bugger Off Bunny hits the charts, then I'll just do like the guy who disses me, David Scott, the guy that for some reason doesn't like me. David Scott doesn't give me the time of day. I don't know what his issue is, but you know who I'm talking about. Mr. Cat Videos there. He turned that into a career, but he actually has talent. I have no talent, so but why not? I mean, DJ Khaled has no talent. He just mixes music. Why can't I do it? No. We're talking about the Kifness, who's disrespected me and just ignored me, has no time of day for me. Yeah. So anyway, which is odd because I've actually helped him out. He was looking for information once upon a time. I gave him information, but doesn't give me the time of day. I don't know why. I don't know what his issue is. Never spoke ill of him. Other than I didn't like all the cat videos, but that was long after he blew me off. So anyway, see, I've not seen his video about Naledi Pandor. What's this about? Is this about her being in the States? Because I intentionally didn't do a video on that. Yep. All right, let's get to the news. So, sorry to say this, folks, but Fly South Air pilots have left you all stranded high and dry. This is unfortunate, very unfortunate. Fly South Air pilot strike grounded 26 flights today. Pilots represented by Solidarity are demanding a 10.5% salary increase, but the airline says this is economically unviable. There are also issues around a new rostering system. OR Tambo Airport was in chaos with snaking lines at the Fly South Air check-in terminals and despondent passengers sitting around the airline's sales desk clutching boarding passes for canceled flights. This as pilots represented by the Solidarity Union embarked on a strike, leaving 26 Fly South Air flights grounded. The airline responded to a one-day strike notice that was issued with a 7-day defensive lockout designed to force pilots to accept its offer. The union has now extended the strike to 2 weeks. Union is demanding 10.5% salary increase, but the airline says this translates into an economically unviable 20% hike, including bonuses and allowances. In the meantime, many travelers faced missed connections and disrupted travel plans on Monday. Chief Marketing Officer Kirby Gordon said, "We're hoping the crew all of our flights today. We had commitment from a number of pilots that they were going to crew those flights, and late last night received word that they would not. So out of 174 flights today, 26 have been canceled, 13%. The airline has 310 pilots in total, 2/3 of whom are represented by Solidarity. But there are more pilots working than are on strike at this stage. Well, I'm very disappointed in the pilots of FlySAF Air, an airline that I frequently give my business to. I have flown at least 25, 30 flights with FlySAF Air over the past 3 years. I'm very disappointed in their behavior. Yeah. No, Lana, people were informed a week ago that there was going to be a strike. So people aren't just paying attention. As I said, FlySAF Air pilots, they confirmed 26 flights canceled today. So some flights got through. In an interview with the IOL at the OR Tambo International Airport, Kirby Gordon said the interruption of flights is regrettable and has left some passengers stranded. I've been wanting to interview Kirby Gordon for some time to promote FlySAF Air because I'm very satisfied with the service they provide. The prices, although they've gone up a bit, have been very satisfactory. The pilots just want to milk you and me for more money. They think they're entitled to more money. Yeah, Delta plane is on fire. Where, Anthea? Where is a Delta plane on fire? Let me see if that shows up anywhere. Oh, Delta plane in Orlando. Okay. Delta plane catches fire after takeoff but lands safely. Ooh, okay, there we go. Here's the video. Man, oh man, this is in Orlando, folks. Emergency landing after engine fire. Wow, let's get to where this video is at. 6-minute video. Where the heck's it at? I don't see the... Okay, this is useless video. It doesn't show me the one. Delta makes emergency landing at LAX. What was it, Orlando? Okay, this is a day ago. Wait a second. Is this 2 different flights? LAX, not Orlando. So I don't know what's going on there. Video shows plane's engine burst into flames. Good Lord. That's from yesterday. Why is this not showing up on my news? This did not show up on my news. Okay. Wow. See if we can't get this. Whoa. Yeah, I see it. Just trying to get the right video here. Oh, come on. Let's try this one here. This is YouTube. I don't want to get a copyright strike on that. Let's Delta CNN. Okay.
Oh, look at that!
Good Lord, that people are screaming. Let's put that on mute. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. I'll show it to you. All right, so this came in from CNN. So, scary stuff here. Is Arctic here? We need our pilot, our resident pilot, and he's not the only one. We have another pilot who I haven't seen in a while here. Where's our other pilot at? So here you go. Let's get myself on the screen there. Come on, come on. Where's my damn camera at? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's the camera? There it is. There we go. Let's put that up here. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's watch this video. Oof, look at that engine on fire. Well, that's not good. That is not good, folks.
An engine fire forcing the Boeing 767 to return to the Los Angeles airport shortly.
Wow. Well, that's not good. That's never a good thing, folks. Never a good thing. So that plane caught fire right after thankfully it happened at takeoff. I mean, can you imagine you get out and 30,000 feet? Although I think the fire would be put out pretty quickly, but the engine would probably fail. Wow. Oh Lordy no. Yeah, exactly. Oh Lordy no. That's not good news there, folks. Anyway, FlySAF Air. That's what we're talking about. South Africans hoping to sell their home in Gauteng are in trouble here, folks. Apparently, there's an outrageously long 6-month delay in transferring title deeds. What is going on? Is this an intentional effort or just incompetence? I'm going to argue it's incompetence. 6-month delays. Selling property in Joburg could take 6 months or longer due to severe delays at the city's deeds offices, compounded by building damage, staff shortages, and unapproved building plans. On February 25th this year, Johannesburg's deeds office closed after the Department of Employment and Labor shut down the building's elevators due to noncompliance. On March 6th, they officially reopened. Wow. They have cash flow issues, significant delays of property transfers, registrations, which should take 6 to 12 weeks, are now taking at least 2 to 3 months. Sellers are forced to wait. They cannot sell their homes. And already the market is saturated and no one wants to move there anyway because of some migration to the Western Cape. Difficult to sell a place. Arctic is on strike. Oh, Arctic is on strike having a whiskey. Okay. He never flew for Fly South Africa, though. He used to fly for Comair. South Africa's foot and mouth disease response isn't working, says John Steenhuisen. That may be because John Steenhuisen, the Minister of Agriculture, is not listening to farmers. I have it on good sources in the agricultural community in Northwest and Gauteng province, among other places, that John Steenhuisen is not listening to farmers. Farmers are being ignored by the Minister of Agriculture. That's what they claim. Interest of full disclosure, about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, requested an interview with John Steenhuisen, the Minister of Agriculture, through his PA. His PA was polite and respectful to me, as she always is, and said that she would set something up. Then she told me that he's not available until Monday. I said, that's fine. The events are breaking. I appreciate that. Then on Monday, I wrote back and said, on Tuesday, I said, any update? She said, well, he's not available now. And so I was ignored for the 13th time in my official request to interview John Steenhuisen. John Steenhuisen took exception to my reporting on him about Iran earlier this year, told me that I should contact him for comment. Well, I contacted him for comments, and he ignores my request. My audience is larger than several of the media publications in South Africa that he gives interviews to. Several of the mainstream media outlets are smaller than my viewing audience, and he doesn't give it to me. That's his prerogative. He owes me nothing at all. But I cannot get a comment from him on this because he won't answer the mail. So all I can tell you is that this is just a mess. What does Roman know about foot and mouth? He's a farmer now. Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen says the response system to foot and mouth is stretched to the limits, and South Africa can't continue managing outbreaks with outdated structures and fragmented authority. Speaking today in Durban to tackle foot and mouth disease on Monday, he said a key part of fighting disease was to regionalize South Africa's disease control framework so the country could avoid blanket bans during outbreaks. Another way would be to not have sold off your vaccinations to Botswana. But that isn't John Steenhuisen's fault. That's the ANC's fault. The Ekurhuleni mayor has suspended the controversial electricity surcharge after violent protest in Tembisa. So all you have to do is tear things up and burn tires, and they will capitulate. Ekurhuleni mayor Zakaza has suspended the controversial electricity surcharge that led to violent protests in Tembisa today. Residents took the streets to air their frustration and demonstrate their rejection of the introduction of a fixed 126 Rand electricity surcharge, which kicked off on July 1st. Major routes in Tembisa were blockaded by protesting community members. He said he understood the community's frustration. The tariffs are from Eskom's pricing structure, and they were approved by the National Energy Regulator. But Tembisa now is going to let someone else eat the cost of that because they're political cowards. Instead of arresting people illegally demonstrating and imprisoning them, they're going to capitulate to the thugs. Thugocracy, South Africa. Big developments in the media sector in South Africa, folks, as the traditional media struggles, and Cockprot24 offers basically free subscriptions if you sign up for Take-A-Lot service. As these folks struggle with their propaganda leading to declining viewership, declining revenue, declining ad revenue, now people are turning to alternative media, and 3 alternative media potentialities are out there now. Big developments. Staff writer for My Broadband says that money is flowing into South Africa's online news sector, with many new publications launching to provide additional voices to the conversation. Over the last few years, South Africa's media landscape has faced significant challenges, with many journalists and other media professionals losing their jobs. Last year, South Africa's largest publishing company, Media24, stopped printing many of its iconic newspaper titles, including Beeld, Rapport, and City Press. 2 of which are Afrikaans. Imagine that. Former Media24 CEO Ishmet Davidson explained that they had to review their operations within the context of the transition to an increasingly digital media landscape. That's just part of the story. The real story is that they all spew propaganda and carry the water for the Afghan National Congress, and people are tired of the lies. They want objective reporting. They want honesty in news media, and they're not getting it from South African media outlets. Other prominent media companies, including Arena Holdings, Independent Media, Daily Maverick, and the Mail & Guardian, also cut jobs. Last year, Independent Media underwent a second round of retrenchments with 259 people sacked. Independent Media Chairman Iqbal Survey explained the cost of running newspapers has become unsustainable for independent media and for the Survey family. That's because your papers are crap. Some freelancers and contractors will be affected, but in terms of retrenchment, we've minimized this to 5% of our permanent employees. Arena Holdings in 2023 reduced their workforce as well. So earlier this year, Mail and Guardian announced job cuts as a part of creating more sustainable business. In February 2025, Vrije Weekblad, a progressive Afrikaans newspaper, permanently closed down due to revenue problems. And I'll tell you why it closed down. A progressive newspaper, a progressive Afrikaans newspaper. That's an oxymoron. Anyway. Money is flowing into South Africa's online news market, however. Despite the challenges most of South Africa's large media houses face, money is flowing in the country's online news market. Many new publications have launched or are planning to launch. This includes Rob Hersoff's Truth Report, Frans Cronje's The Common Sense, and The Rational Standard from Martin van Staden. Many of them believe there should be an alternative voice to left-leaning, they're not left-leaning, they're leftist publications like News 24 and the Daily Maverick. In July 2025, IAB statistics show that News 24 currently dominates the South African online news market with 648,000 daily readers, followed by the IOL with 393,000. Business Tech, and I have beaten those numbers. Well, not for the, I've never beaten News 24, but I've beaten IOL. Business Tech, which is dedicated to business news, is third with 229,000, and that's probably one of the better publications. And My Broadband is fourth with 168,000 readers. The other top 10 include The Citizen, The Daily Maverick, Network 24, South African, Daily Investor, and Supersport. Well, amongst that mix, they fail to mention Ronaldo Gos, Citizens Concerned, the Morning Shot program, and my program, all of which more than once beat any of those publications in the second five. Bild. Okay. All right. So The Rational Standard from Martin van Staden. Now, this is a Substack one, and you have to pay for it, so I'm not sure how it's going to grow. But the head of policy at the Free Market Foundation announced the relaunch of The Rational Standard in April this year. It's a place where you have to pay. So The Truth Report, Rob Hersoff. On 18 July 2025, Rob Hersoff announced the official launch of Truth Report, which said it would serve South Africa with raw, factual news, insights, and entertainment. Most media today is failing, and we live in a time when information is manipulated, headlines are weaponized, and independent thought is discouraged. That's why we founded the Truth Report. This isn't just another news platform. This is a platform where honest debate happens. The publication is closely linked with many high-profile podcasters, including Gareth Cliff, Ronaldo Gos, Phumlani Majosi, and Colonel Chris Wyatt. Whoa! Look at that! I got to mention. I didn't even see that till just now. I got to mention. Well, that's nice. You know, somebody in Benoni mentioned me today. Wow, thank you for that. That's very nice. Wow. I didn't know that. That calls for a little coffee there, folks. A little coffee there. I'm for once, I'm not slandered in South African media. Wow. That's pretty cool. Ooh. Usually I get attacked in the South African media. And Common Sense from Frans Cronje. This is one that has yet to appear, but it will be coming. By the way, the Truth Report did a soft launch on Friday. You can go check out the Truth Report if you want. Yeah, let me go see if I can find that link. Hang on a second here. Truth Report. I had it open in one of these windows, but I think I closed it. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. But let me open it over here in this one here. So, come on. Truth Report. Okay. There we go. Whoa, that's loud. I turned that down a little bit. Thank you for your membership. Matisse de Beer. All right, so Truth Report. Let's go to that. This is what it looks like, folks, if you want to check it out. The Truth. Whoop, that's not it. Psych. Yep, here we go. A little bit of trial and error here today. So there you go. That's the Truth Report. And you've got creators over here. Click on creators, and there's 7 of us there. Joe Emilio, Samba Sambit, Phumlani Majosi, Ronaldo, Gareth Cliff, Morning Shot, and Colonel Chris Wyatt. Yeah, so you just click on that. Oh, they've got my X up. I didn't see my X there before. That's cool. Yep, so... Oh, I unfollowed myself. That was stupid. I thought I was following. All right, let's go here. So let's see feed. Okay, there you go. Oh, my video's up from earlier. Look at that. Okay. They're pulling in our feeds as well. Are South African refugee rumors true or just scary stories? Look at that. They're pulling in the feed. This is on their domain. Takes you there. So, news over here. Okay, AI summary for today's news. The Vice, AIDS Map, Club of Mozambique, Daily Maverick, My Broadband. Okay, cool beans. And you watch videos, and you got a feed here. And then sports is also on here. Weekend roundup, Springboks put 55 past Georgia. All right. So that's the Truth Report, folks. It's in early stages. It's working on. So truthreport.co.za. Okay. Where's Kool-Aid? Who is Kool-Aid? Irene says that's awesome. Yeah, folks. What happened to Daddy Liberty? Big Daddy Liberty has backed out because of his conflict with his job. He works for the Democratic Alliance, and there's a conflict there. So he's out. Humanoid Cell is looking for a date. Is anybody desperate for attention other than Humanoid Cell? He's looking for a date. Humanoid Cell, not interested. You can go find someone else. I don't know who Kool-Aid is. Sorry, Liz, never heard of it. It's not sad to hear. He's got a job. The guy's got a paycheck. I mean, nobody's making any money off of this YouTube. We're not making money off YouTube or for the Truth Report. I make content for them. I'm not getting paid. So hang on a second. Speaking of which, that reminds me, I had it. Hang on. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. All right. So I did deal with that. So, hey, Paulie's here. My goodness. Man. Paulie, the brains behind the operation. Been a while since we've seen Paul. I almost forgot the nickname there. I still don't recognize the name Kool-Aid. Sorry. Those are the anchors. There are plenty of contributors. We have, I think, 37 content contributors. We have 6 anchors. All right, so there you go. All right, there you go, folks. Let's get back to the news. Okay, 832 people currently here. Thanks for being here. So, as I said, so here's the Truth Report. I wanted to show that again, and then we'll move on from there. There's the Truth Report, and okay, so Julius Malema is slamming Jacob Zuma as a sellout. EFF leader Malema has criticized former president and MK party leader Jacob Zuma for his recent visit to Morocco, calling him a sellout. Zuma met Moroccan officials and expressed his support for Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara, contradicting the ANC's historical stance. That's a complete sellout position. Now there's a maneuver. They are no longer emphasizing their party position in Morocco. They're saying a former head of state can visit any country and have interactions with these people. No one is questioning that. We're questioning his position and that of his party in relation to Morocco. Well, we don't really care what Julius Malema and his 3% party has to say. Sorry, Juju, your 3% party is not really a factor. So find something else to do with your time. Yeah. Candidates are vying to become members of the Independent Electoral Commission in South Africa, folks. Yeah, it's that time. Yep. The process to appoint 3 new commissioners to the IEC began with interviews today. Chief Justice Mandisa Maya chaired the panel interviewing 12 shortlisted candidates over 2 days. Are there any white guys? Let's see if they give the names of who's being interviewed here. They mentioned the interview panel. There's no white guys on the interview panel, it looks like. But who's being interviewed? It doesn't say. Geraldine Chaplong-Low is told the panel she believes there's room to improve experience for the voters. That could be a white person. Could be colored too. Chaplong-Low. Anyway. Interesting. So, new commissioners for the Independent Electoral Commission, which is something that needs better oversight. Starlink roaming returns to Southern Africa, ladies and gentlemen. They've reopened its roaming subscription for new customers in many African countries where the service is officially supported, including 3 of South Africa's neighbors. They stopped accepting new subscriptions to regional roaming in many countries in Africa in September last year. Currently known as Roam Unlimited, subscription allows users to access Starlink internet while traveling through other countries on the same continent as their registered address. Unless actively geo-blocked by Starlink, like South Africa, the roaming also works in countries where the service is not officially launched. Well, it says it will work in South Africa. Starlink's suspension of roaming subscribers came after it began implementing a 60-day continuous use rule to prevent abuse of its regional pricing. Yeah, because they had different prices in different countries, and people were trying to get over by roaming. At the time of publication, the service is available in Eswatini, Kenya, Lesotho, Mozambique, and Zambia. Aside from Zimbabwe, Botswana was the only South African neighbor with Starlink support where new roaming subscriptions remained unavailable. So apparently Zimbabwe and Botswana, it's not available yet. Here's the pricing. Mini kit price, 3,700 Rand in Eswatini. 50 gigabyte monthly subscription, 900 Rand. Monthly unlimited subscription, not available in Eswatini, but 1,900 Rand in Lesotho. Well, I'd pay that. That's cheap. 1,900 Rand, that's a little over $100 here in the U.S. That's a lot less than I'm paying for internet, but it's a lot slower speed. Well, the Treasury Department says they're not responsible for cuts to the SANDF, and I think they're correct. Parliament's responsible. They're the ones who set the budget, not Treasury. They just execute it. National Treasury says it's not responsible for any budget challenges experienced by the SANDF. Treasury said it was concerned by remarks made by the head of the Navy, Admiral Monde Lobisi, who accused it of compromising national security by not providing defense force the resources, but he misunderstands how government works. National Treasury for a change needs to be patriotic in how they address the funding of the SANDF. Treasury can't be allowed to be a super department. Well, the Treasury isn't a super department. Parliament is the one that sets your budget. You need to address that with the African National Congress. A message to South Africans leaving the country. Daily Investor says many South Africans may be looking to emigrate to improve their lives, but there are many financial considerations which can complicate the process. That's true. That's true. If you're young, you might want to try new things, live in a different environment, culture, travel, see more of the world. If you're older, more settled, the considerations are clearly different. Yes, you got lots of things to worry about. Your investments, your insurance, health, insurance, retirement benefits, property ownership. The grass, is it greener? Is the grass greener? Well, it might be. It might be. But you never know. The grass might be greener, it might not be. Just a second here, folks. Yeah. Why would we want to go to a country where we can be deported for calling out the actions of another country? What country is that, Mr. Truth Way Light? What country is that? You want to share? What country are you going to where you can be deported? New Zealand? You talking about New Zealand? This is a story about immigration. People emigrate all over the world. Oh, you talking about... No, I don't know what country you're talking about there, Truth Way Light. What country are you talking about? UK? UK is locking up people for free speech. So what country are you talking about? Anytime wants to know if the grass is green, where he's at. Anti-Semitism. That doesn't answer the question, Truth Way Light. You're interrupting my broadcast with your comments, and I find them interesting. Is UK the land of the free? Is that what you're talking about, the UK? No, it's not the land of the free. Are you insinuating America? Just come out and say it. Don't be a coward. Say the country. I mean, we're all sitting here with bated breath. We want to hear what you have to say, Truth Way Light. What country are you referring to? Australia? Again, you can't bring yourself to say it. So give you another chance here. Give you one more chance to interrupt the progress of the news and tell us, anyone with an IQ of 70 above can say, well, I think you're being rude is going to get you blocked. So anyway, we're not going to entertain you anymore. So go back to your corner and release your member. Well, are the Springboks prices too much, folks? Well, a lot of people think they cost too much. I disagree. They charge almost nothing for many seats. Springboks continue to make history around the world. Many fans say they're being priced out of the experience as ticket prices come under fire. As reigning World Cup champions, they hold 4 titles, which is a record. Only team to won half the tournaments they played in. They're also just one of 2 nations to win back-to-back World Cups, New Zealand being the other. But here's the poll. Here's the poll. Their tickets are too expensive. 48% said that, and some people say they only watch on 25% say they only watch on TV. Only 11% or 12% of people said it's not too expensive. Well, I think it's not too expensive. Yep. Well, you can't talk about Stalingrad. Zuma's lawyer tells the National Prosecuting Authority. This is ridiculous. This guy needs to be prosecuted. Enough of this nonsense. Zuma is still facing 18 charges of corruption going back 20, almost 30 years now. Racketeering, fraud, and tax evasion linked to his corrupt relationship with former financial advisor Shabir Sheikh. State's case against him was declared ready for trial 4 years ago, but it's been delayed by his efforts to have Billy down and remove his prosecutor. And there's no basis for that, but he continues and continues and continues to try. And it ain't working. Well, let's blame America. Let's blame America. Yeah. I think that's what our friend Amazing Light Show is trying to do, blame America. So here's another follow-up story on that bullshit story about Mozambique, blaming America for people dying in Mozambique, not the Mozambican authorities who failed to take care of the country's needs. After U.S. funding cuts, Mozambican children die. Who bears responsibility, Jesse Copeland? Well, you do, for your propaganda. After U.S. Agency for International Development abruptly terminated billions of dollars worth overseas in grants, the health system in central Mozambique was left in tatters. Well, first off, there aren't billions of dollars in grants to Mozambique. To the uninformed reader, he's just implied, or she's just implied, that billions of dollars were cut from Mozambique. No. Tens of millions of dollars were cut, not billions, maybe a couple hundred million, but not billions. So let's get the facts straight here. The health system in central Mozambique was left in tatters. Earlier this year, I traveled to 2 badly hit provinces of the country to describe the toll. Many of these children HIV positive relied on caseworkers to bring them their medicines or accompany them to hospital. Without them, some children stopped taking their treatment and died. And where are their parents? Where are the leaders in the community? Where are their churches, their mosque? Why are Mozambicans not responsible for these children? Why are we as Americans responsible for them? We're not. I'm sorry, Jesse Copeland. Nonsense. Nonsense. And of course, where does Jesse Copeland come from? An NGO. An NGO. Ground up. Yeah, there you go. Iran using Israeli bombings to speed up Afghan expulsions, and the world isn't upset about this. Iran is expelling Afghan nationals. All they want to do is fixate on Trump expelling criminal alien invaders, illegally calling them or fraudulently calling them immigrants when they're criminals. They would find any way to threaten you with arrest and keep demanding larger and larger amounts of money. Arya Farahman is a pseudonym of Iranian journalist. After 28 years of struggle in Iran, Jafar told his wife and adolescent son the risk had become too great. They had no choice but to finally pack up and return to the native Afghanistan, a country Jafar hadn't been to since he was a teenager. Since early June, tens of thousands of Afghans have left Iran and poured into Afghanistan's western province of Herat. Tehran set July 6th deadline for all unregistered foreigners to leave the country. Then came Israel's bombardments of Iran. The Iranian government and public have long been accused of abuse, violence, discrimination, and racism towards Afghans. And where is the ANC? Where is the ANC? They're so worried about equality and fair treatment and the behavior of states acting like rogue pariahs. Well, Iran is acting like a rogue pariah state, evicting Afghans. Where is the heart for them? Where's the heart for them, ANC? I'm sorry. Did you say anything? No, you didn't say anything. You're being very quiet, ANC. BHP, this is the story that people were asking about earlier, exits the 2.5 billion Tanzania nickel project. The group has opted to sell its interest in this project, the Kabanga nickel project, to its partner Lifezone Metals for $83 million. It's a $2.5 billion interest. They're selling it for $83 million. New York Stock Exchange listed company will acquire BHP's 17% equity interest in the nickel operation. BHP still considers Kabanga to be one of the world's best underdeveloped nickel sulfide projects. But the uncertain nickel market outlook and the miners' capital allocation framework made investments in greenfield nickel projects challenging. So the BHP bulletin has exited that market. Once a beacon of hope, the Times Live says Tunisia's civil society is frayed, and it is. Good point. Tunisian activist Cherifa Ria's mother, Farada, holds a picture of her at her house. In May 2024, Tunisian activist Cherifa Riada was arrested 2 months after giving birth, accused of harboring illegal migrants. More than a year later, she's still in prison without a charge. She's in prison for a year without a charge. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable in a civilized country. That is what rogue terror states do. That is what state sponsors of abuse do. That is what illegitimate governments do, imprison people without criminal charges for a year. And she gave birth 2 months prior. Her baby's growing up without her. Wow. The crackdown is a consequence of the illegal presidency of Kais Saied. This demented lunatic who still runs Tunisia has suspended parliament and runs the country illegally extrajudicially. Crackdown marks a turnaround for Tunisia, where civil society groups flourished in the wake of the 2011 Arab Spring. Forced separation from her daughter and young son has been traumatic. The girl doesn't recognize her mother, says the grandmother, who is now caring for her grandchild. They took her while she was breastfeeding. We didn't even have time to understand what was happening. Since Saeed's power grab, at least a dozen civil society figures such as Ria have been detained on allegations activists denounce as fabricated. According to rights groups and lawyers, at least 10 civil society groups have had their assets frozen and offices raided. Where is the ANC? Where is the ANC? Is the ANC addressing this humanitarian crisis, this violation of basic human rights, by putting this woman in prison and holding her in jail for a year without criminal charges? By a rogue, illicit government illegally in office of Kais Saied? Where is the ANC? Another situation. We talk about Afghans being expelled illegitimately from Iran. The ANC is silent. Here we have Tunisians being imprisoned illicitly. Where is the ANC? They claim to care, to be on the side of the angels. More than 11 million refugees are losing aid due to cuts in UN agency. So UNHCR is losing money, but they're going to find a way to blame America. They're going to blame us. UNHCR had to stop or suspend $1.4 billion worth of aid programs in Sudan, Chad, and Afghanistan. Up to 11.6 million refugees are in danger of losing access to humanitarian assistance due to cuts in foreign aid by donor nations. This is about one-third of refugees normally supported by the UN agency. Our funding situation is dramatic. We fear that 11.6 million refugees and people forced to flee are losing access to humanitarian assistance provided UNICEF by UNHCR. And I have South Africans who come into my chat and send me messages and send me WhatsApps complaining about waiting 3 weeks after sending a statement of interest, as if you're more important than someone else. These people have been waiting years, and they're not going anywhere. Just 23% of the United Nations High Commission for Refugee funding requirement of $10.6 billion has been fulfilled so far this year. Only 23%. The funding crisis stems from large donors' cuts, countries like Sweden, France, Japan, compounded by USAID cuts. No. USAID cuts have nothing to do with the UN budget. This is propaganda. Japan, France, and Sweden cut their money. The lovely Swedes who care so much about the poor dispossessed around the planet. They're the ones who cut the money. But I knew they'd find a way to blame America. Gonna blame America. Yep, of course. We are not responsible for your mess. Clean your own mess up. Well, here's another one. Trump funding cuts, installing water projects around the world. Apparently the world is not responsible for itself. You can slip your sausage, you can knock boots, and reproduce, and then it's our responsibility. No, that's not how it works. Nope. Cuts leave wells, irrigation canals, and other projects half-built in countries including Kenya, the DRC, and Mali. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration decisions to slash nearly all foreign aid has left dozens of water and sanitation projects half-finished across the globe. 21 unfinished projects in 16 countries. I'm sorry. And what about the people in those 16 countries? Are they not responsible for their own well-being? Are their governments not responsible? Why is the American taxpayer at fault? I'm so sick of this BS nonsense. We've been taking care of the world for decades, and what do we get crapped on for it? Turkey's president said he is not budging on a two-state solution for Cyprus. The reunification of Cyprus looks more distant than ever as the fascist dictator for life, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the man who fabricated a coup to eliminate any legitimate opposition to him, locking up lawyers, doctors, dentists, military officers. Turkish Cypriots on Sunday celebrate Turkey's military invasion of the Cyprus that cleaved the island along ethnic lines 51 years ago. Turkey's president reaffirmed his full backing for a controversial peace deal that envisions the establishment of two separate states. So there you go. So no unification of Cyprus in the future. The Turks eliminated the Greeks, kicking millions of them out of what was Greece in western Turkey and Anatolia, kicking them out of the islands in the Mediterranean, and then stealing half of Cyprus. Yep. Wow. China confirms it's got a ban on the Wells Fargo banker it will not let go. Chen Yue Mao has been blocked from leaving the country because she is involved in a criminal case, says China's foreign ministry. China blocked Wells Fargo banker Chen Yue Mao from leaving the country because she's required to assist in a criminal probe. Chinese law enforcement authorities have imposed exit restrictions on Mao, who is involved in a criminal case under investigation. The Shanghai-born managing director based at Wells Fargo's Atlanta office, Mao was blocked from leaving China after she traveled there in recent weeks. Why do we have Chinese nationals working for Wells Fargo? Why do we have Chinese nationals working for Wells Fargo? I think that's a good question that needs to be addressed. Bangladesh Air Force plane crashes into a school, killing at least 20. More than 160 people were injured in the training aircraft crashed into after mechanical error. The country's interim leader called the loss irreparable. A Bangladeshi Air Force training aircraft crashed into a school campus in Dhaka, the capital, this afternoon, killing at least 20 people and injuring 164 others. The Bangladeshi military said in a statement that mechanical error had caused the crash, which occurred at the Milestone School and College in a part of Dhaka called Uttara, north of the city's international airport. As students joined the rescue effort and residents lined up to donate blood at a site near the crash, police officers, military personnel, fire officials, emergency workers struggled to contain large crowds that had gathered around the campus. Pretty scary stuff there, folks. That's not good. The number of people rescued from an Indonesian ferry has risen to 575 as the ferry burns. The number of people saved from an Indonesian passenger ferry that caught fire at sea rose to 575, rescuers said, but 3 died and 2 remain missing. The KM Barcelona VA caught fire at midday Sunday while making its regular half-day journey between 2 ports. According to First Admiral Frankie Pasuna Sibongbing, chief of the Mando Navy base. The Coast Guard ship, 6 rescue vessels, and several inflatable boats were deployed to the rescue operation. The crews pulled many people from the sea and took them to nearby islands. And local fishermen also saved some survivors wearing life jackets as they were drifting in the choppy waters. Photos and videos circulating on social media showed terrified passengers, mostly wearing life jackets, jumping in the sea as orange flames and black smoke billowed from the burning vessel. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the fire that began in the ferry's stern and was extinguished within an hour. Wow. 3 bodies were recovered, including a pregnant woman, and rescuers are searching for 2 passengers reported missing. Wow. Japan's ruling party lost the election, folks. They lost the election yesterday, complicating trade talks with the U.S. The LDP's loss in the upper house, another blow for Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, who's been struggling to close a trade deal with the Trump administration. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's influence has already weakened after his Liberal Party failed in October to secure an absolute majority in the more powerful lower house for the first time in 15 years. Now they've not secured a majority in the upper house. But he will remain. After losing his majority in the upper house, he says, I painfully feel my serious responsibility over the election results. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, leader of the center-right Liberal Democratic Party, said on Monday he would not stand down after losing a key election. The parliamentary election defeat came as Japan faced an August 1st deadline to strike a tariff deal with the United States. The LDP and its junior coalition partner Komeito were trying to hold on to a majority in the 248-seat upper house. And they didn't. They failed. Germany shut down thousands of air raid shelters after the Cold War. Now it needs new ones. As part of its effort to become war ready for 2029, Berlin is scouting public places can be turned into shelters quickly and cheaply. Less than 20 years ago, Germany decided that the risk of military attack on its territory was so low that it decommissioned the country's last air raid bunkers. Today, it's scrambling to roll back that decision. Of about 2,000 bunkers and air raid shelters operational during the Cold War, only 580 remain, offering space for just 480,000 people, or 0.5% of Germany's population. And that's theoretical. That may not even be enough. German authorities are rushing to remedy the situation, drawing up a list of public spaces can rapidly and cheaply turn into shelters. Well, it's not cheap. It's expensive. The United States has ordered new restrictions when it comes to flights to Mexico amid an aviation dispute. U.S. Transportation Department stated that new restrictions are in response to Mexico breaching a 2015 bilateral air transportation agreement. There's U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Under the new restrictions, Mexico will have to file schedules to the U.S. Department of Transportation for all U.S. operations and obtain department approval to operate large passenger cargo flights between Mexico and the United States. Well, that's going to be problematic. That's not going to be good. The United States economy is regaining its swagger under Donald Trump. Despite the best efforts of Wall Street Journal to paint a grim picture of the economy, today they're forced to run a story admitting the truth by Rachel Wolf and Conrad Putzier. When President Trump slapped tariffs on nations across the globe, many economists feared higher prices and spending cuts would flatten the economy. Consumer sentiment collapsed. The S&P 500 index fell by 19% between February and April. The world held its breath and waited for the bottom to drop out. But that didn't happen. Now business and consumers are regaining their swagger, and evidence is mounting that those who held back are starting to splurge again. Stock market is reaching record highs. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which tumbled in April to its lowest reading in 3 years, is climbing. Retail sales are up more than economists had forecast, and sky-high inflation hasn't materialized. We've been surprised again and again by consumers, says Jonathan Miller, senior economist at Barclays. In April, Miller predicted the U.S. economy would likely go in recession. He now expects it to keep growing. As soon as Trump was elected, Taylor Ann decided she wasn't going to take any chances, possibility of tariffs, or worse, broader economic collapse. The 46-year-old project manager stocked up, buying survival gear, flashlights, window-breaking devices, and water purification tablets, a mop bucket, and an entire case of French rosé. Well, don't you look foolish now, sweetheart. Don't you look foolish now. Yeah, panic, folks. I quietly, discreetly bought more stock at a depressed price in those past few months. All of which is now on the rise. Suckers. How Trump deflected Baga's wrath over Epstein, at least for now, by tapping into other grievances. President Trump managed to turn one of the most fractious moments for his base into a unifying one as they rally around Trump. Oh, a story by just one journalist. Well done, Erica Green. It's so rare. In the week after the Justice Department walked back its promise to release the full collection of files about the disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, it seemed there was nothing President Trump could do to quell the fury of some of his supporters. He tried to coax them as he defended his attorney general against their wrath, asking, "What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals?" He said he did not understand their interest in the case, downplaying it as boring. Well, Trump was right, and they were wrong. ICE will flood New York with agents after border officer shot by an illegal immigrant. Trump administration officials said today they will flood New York with more ICE agents after off-duty border officer was shot during what authorities said was a robbery by two criminal alien invaders. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez was caught and released during the Biden administration and built up a lengthy criminal record, but was allowed to roam free by New York's sanctuary policies. On Saturday, he and other criminal aliens tried to rob an off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer at Riverside Park in the city. He and the officer exchanged gunfire, and the officer was hit in the face. Mr. Nunez was also struck. Ms. Noem and White House border czar Tom Zoman laid blame at the feet of New York's lenient immigration and criminal justice policies. Mr. Nunez had many arrests in New York and Massachusetts, including charge of kidnapping, armed robbery with a firearm, witness intimidation, grand larceny, and assault, but was still walking the city streets. We're going to flood the zone, and I hope they arrest tens of thousands of these scumbag criminal alien invaders and deport them all. And I don't want to hear this, well, we're not criminals. You are. If you dropped your identification, illegally entered this country, and lied about your origin, you're a criminal. After pledging to keep prices low, Amazon hiked them on hundreds of essentials. While Walmart cut prices on low-cost goods, Amazon raised them. Of course they did. So this month, the same soup that costs $2.50 on Amazon is a 30% increase. January 20th, $1.98. Amazon jacked up prices 30%. Why? We make chunky soup in America. Why are they raising the prices? Look at all these prices up 136% for what looks like earwax removal. Bush's beans up 22%. Underarm up 19%. Ricola up 42%. Some of these items are imported, but many of them are not. Look at this. Amazon is screwing its customers. Look at that. Average price of goods. Walmart's prices have dropped. Target and Amazon have screwed consumers. Look at that. Amazon claims the products that are tracked by the Wall Street Journal aren't representative of the company's prices overall. We've not seen the average price of products offered in a store change up or down appreciably. Well, I would say that's pretty appreciable. 30% increase. Stackable metal basket from Ohio-based Dayglow, which imports from China and other countries. Before mid-February, Amazon sold for $9.31. By late April, they lifted the price to $19.99. $19.99. A $9 item, China doesn't have 100% tariffs. That's more than 100% increase, Amazon. Wow. Meanwhile, Walmart lowered their prices. So, folks, I'm not a fan of Walmart, but I recommend you shop at Walmart. The same basket that cost $9.31 in January on Amazon was $17.90 at Walmart. Now it's $6.77 at Walmart, a 62% decrease, and it's $20 at Amazon. And Dayglow hasn't changed the prices it charges Amazon despite paying more on its imported goods. So Dayglow, and that's what I said. See, that's what I said. Suppliers might eat the cost, and Dayglow ate the cost of the tariffs, but Amazon pushed it on to consumers. Yep. Well, hackers have been targeting Microsoft's SharePoint servers. That's not good. The cloud-based SharePoint Online and Microsoft 365 is a different kind of system and not impacted. Really? Really? Hackers are attacking on-premises Microsoft SharePoint server vulnerabilities, according to U.S. Cybersecurity Infrastructure Defense Agency, CISA. This exploitation activity, publicly reported as Tool Shell, provides unauthenticated access to systems, enables malicious actors to fully access SharePoint content, including file systems, integral configurations, and execute code over the network. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Just you can get to it locally, but then execute over the network. Subway has named a new CEO. Former Burger King chief executive is now in charge of Subway, Jonathan Fitzpatrick. Subway's still reeling from its bad image from Jared, the pedo who got caught. Jonathan Fitzpatrick takes over as work capital charge growth path for the sandwich giant. Well, they're going to have to lower their prices. I am not going to Subway and paying $14 for a sub. That's ridiculous. Subway named former Burger King chief executive as the next chief executive with a mandate to improve sales and help expand globally. Said it becomes Subway's first new CEO since private equity firm Roark Capital bought the sandwich chain for $9.6 billion last year. Well, the 55-year-old said he aimed to work with Subway's franchisees and employees to boost sales and profitability. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're going to have to lower your prices, dude, because they're outrageously high. I don't go to Subway anymore. Freaking $14 for a sub? No. Well, according to the Washington Post, Trump officials ignore the judges. Well, that's nonsense. A comprehensive analysis of hundreds of lawsuits against Trump policies shows dozens of examples of defiance, delay, and dishonesty, which experts say pose an unprecedented threat to U.S. legal system. That's nonsense because Biden ignored every court decision, simply ran roughshod over it. President Trump and his appointees have been accused of flouting courts in a third of the more than 160 lawsuits against the administration in which a judge has issued a substantive ruling. Well, most of those substantive rulings have been issued illegitimately by judges who lack the authority, and they've been overturned by the Supreme Court. So this is a disingenuous news story by the Washington Compost. But what more we expect from the Washington Compost but dishonesty? Howard Lutnick says that Trump will renegotiate trade pacts with Canada and Mexico next year. He said 75% of imports from Canada and Mexico are covered under the free trade agreement. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick said on Sunday that President Trump will renegotiate the U.S.-Canada-Mexico agreement when trade pact is due for review next year. It was enacted by Trump during his first term in July 2020. The agreement requires that 75% of automobile components be made in the United States, Mexico, or Canada for a vehicle to qualify for tariff-free treatment. The trade agreement also mandates that up to 45% of parts and components be made by workers earning at least $16 an hour. And it includes a provision for 3 nations to review the deal every 6 years from its enactment. So it's time to review it. Well, Donald Trump has reposted on his Truth Social a video which shows Barack Obama being arrested. It's funny. Trump posts AI-generated video of Obama being arrested by FBI. That's a dishonest headline. He reposted it. President Trump posted an artificial intelligence-generated video of social media showing former President Barack Obama being arrested by FBI agents in the Oval Office. Trump reposted the video, which was created by a TikTok user, on his Truth Social. Video shows Trump sitting next to Obama in the Oval Office, and 2 FBI agents come storming in, lift the former president off his seat, and then force him to his knees and handcuff him. Before the arrest, the montage of Democrats, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren, and Joe Biden, are seen saying, "No one is above the law." No one is above the law. Well, yes, they are. We know they are. All right, so here's the video here.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Except the Democrats are above the law. And they have been above the law for years. Well, there you go, folks. People are grading Trump so far, according to CNN's John King. What are they giving him? Oh, they're different views. They talked to a few different people. Okay. All right, now let's get to that story that was sent to me by, was it Mays, I think, sent that to me? There we go. No, that's not it. Who sent it to me? I thought it was Mays. No, that's not it. I thought he sent me that. I got to go back. Hopefully that's still here. The super chat. Well, the super chat, I'll be able to find it that way. I'm a little confused here. Hang on a second. Let me get to that. Sorry, folks. I want to get to that story. Okay. Where is the super chat at? Oh, I need to go here. Okay. Mad Max is one of them. Okay. Okay. Oh, it wasn't me. It was Mad Max who sent it. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing it. ENCA getting ready for $400 million fight with Palestine. Okay. I don't see anything. You sent me a WhatsApp. I don't see anything here. Sent in Kabani media statement. Last message in your WhatsApp. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. July 21st. I, Dr. Nobule Pamela Nkabani, would like to take this opportunity to thank President Ramaphosa for entrusting me. It's been a privilege to lead this important portfolio. I'm grateful sector I remain committed. Okay, it doesn't say anything. It just, it doesn't say she's resigning. So let's go there. Let's go see if that's appeared in the news yet. Come on. News 24. So slow. Yep, there it is. They finally reported the story. Thank you for that. You were all over that story. Thank you for that one. I appreciate that, Mad Max. You were quick. You were quick on that story. But yeah, it just now appeared on, where the heck did it go? Here we go. In Kimani. Let's cover that story now. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking to see who else got it covered. Yep. Okay, here we go. So News 24. That's not right. I'm in the wrong window there. Sorry, guys. Gosh, having problems with that today. Okay, there we go. Bhuti Manamela appointed new higher education minister as Axe falls Nkabani. Axe has fallen in battle higher education minister Nkabani. President Ramaphosa has appointed Bhuti Manamela as her replacement. All right, so it's been a privilege. Here she is. Okay. Consequently, President Ramaphosa has appointed Dr. Nomusa Dube Nkube, Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training. Sunday Times reported that she was facing the chop after being accused of lying to Parliament about the appointment of a controversial panel to appoint sector education. Yep. Well, the DA got what they wanted. She's been removed. Here she is. Yep. In a swift response to recent controversies, President Ramaphosa. It's not a swift response, IOL. That's taken weeks. The swift response was sacking Andrew Whitfield. Decision follows the ousting, which was announced in a brief statement this afternoon. She expressed her gratitude to Ramaphosa for the opportunity to serve in such a critical role. Yeah, well, you didn't serve. You misled people. So, but all these rogues, gallery of rogues, that's what they are. They all need to be removed. All need to be sent packing. 764 people currently here, just 591 likes. What's up with that, folks? Boy, it's like milking a goat. You know, it's not pleasant.
That was easy.
Let's get the likes going. You know, you got to overcome Sloat. He's busy putting his one dislike in there. Ice baby. Agreed. All right, that is the news for today. We will never know who gave the orders on that list in the first place. Exactly. And it should be redeployed to a provincial legislature or something like that. Helen Ziller is going to be mayor of Joburg? Doesn't seem likely. Blonde Topaz is here. Okay. You know, what's up with the like? We got a few more there. That's better. Schwanee municipality is charging pensioners in retirement homes penalty if they use private removal service for garbage. Yeah, well, it's not just pensioners. They're charging everybody for that. They don't remove the trash, and then they charge you for paying for private service. It's ridiculous. Darlene says, Chris, now pratye. About what? Yay. It was Mad Max. Thank you, Darlene. Got it. I am the law, Judge Dredd. That's right. Okay. What else we got here in the chat? Mad Max sent a couple of super chats. He did. Thank you for the super chats, Mad Max. That's the story. Nkabani. The story is broken now. ANC is above the law. That's right. I am the law is what the ANC says. They all think that they're Judge Dredd. Talking about checkers, 60-60, never seen a white rider. Really, Ian? I didn't know that. I haven't either, but I don't live in South Africa. I'm just there, you know, occasionally. You can grow potatoes in all kinds of ways. Don't even need soil to grow potatoes. Can you imagine that? Bozo's Amazon, just supporting a cardi elite. Well, Adrian Frick, don't really have much option. There's nowhere for me to go and buy little things I need for software. I mean, for instance, this I can't find. I can't go to. I cannot go to Best Buy or Circuit City or Amazing Universe, any place like that, and buy this. There's no incredible connection. This is an adapter of a USB 3 male into converting it to USB-C. See? I can't buy that. The only place I can find that. It used to have Radio Shack. It used to have CompUSA I could buy and things like this, but I have to get that from Amazon. There's no other place to get it. Not here. Maybe in a big city I can find it, but not here. Yep, you just can't find certain things. They don't exist. They've all been sucked out of the retail network. Subway in 2005 was yum overloaded with fillings, not like here. Yeah, they're pretty stingy in South Africa. What the hell is going on with the dollar? Rand is climbing against the dollar. That's a good question. Let's see. Currently, SANDF is in shambles, but they need to keep the youth busy. Chicken curry, semi-sweet white, barbecue spice, mixed veg, bacon diced, potatoes, and pasta shells. Okay. Sandwich is the same price. The money is worthless. Sandwich is not the same price. I was paying $7 for a foot-long sub with Amazon just a couple years ago. It's $14. $14. I don't know what Subway you're shopping at. This is the one that's right here. 1 kilometer from my house. No, 1.4 kilometers from my house. 1 kilometer if you walk straight. Drive is 1.4. It's hard to walk straight, though. There's a drive-in movie theater right here. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know where you're shopping at Amazon, but it's Subway. It's $14 for freaking sub. The only thing that you can get less than that is a meatball sub. You can get a meatball sub for like $8, I think it is. Yep. Reduction pulse for military service. Dumb idea. Dumb idea. Dumb idea. They can't pay for the troops they have now. What are they going to do with an induct of bringing people in under conscription? It's a dumb idea. MK has got a stupid idea. These people who've never served as genuine soldiers have this love affair with military. They don't even understand military, and they want to use it. The real great Kali. Well, welcome to you, Khalil. Kali. Welcome to you. Cooking lessons for another program. All right. Yep. And I also bought this mouse. Otherwise, I might have had to drive quite a ways to get this. Got a new mouse to replace my current mouse. I haven't done that yet, though. Still using the other one. But I bought a new one. Your husband's making curry stew. Okay. Just had chicken and pasta soup. What's with all the food you guys talking about? United States reportedly preparing a $400 million lawsuit against President Ramaphosa. Yeah, that's a rumor, Mad Max, but I mean, I can't find any serious substantiation of that here in America. ENCA, thank you for the 35 Rand, getting ready for $400 million fight over Palestine report. That's different. That's a law. That's not related to MTN. Okay, ENCA. Let me go to ENCA and see what they say. There it is. That's the one you're talking about. United States reported preparing a $400 million lawsuit against President Ramaphosa. The U.S. alleges South African government knowingly collaborated with Hamas ahead of... Okay, well, that's fascinating. That story has been talked about for a while, but I have no evidence of it. So I've stuck away from it. Just kind of like the lady Pondor, her being in the States. I've stayed away from that story. You can't sound alarm with hypersonic missiles. You can detect them at a long distance. You will love the weather today in Somerset West. 57. Ooh, that is nice. That is nice, Philip Holtz. Thank you for the 140 Rand Super Chat. I would love the weather. 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Ooh, that's lovely. That's shorts weather, folks. Kortbrücke. Yeah, it's shorts weather, man. There you go. Let's go outside. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Let's go hiking. Let's go on a walkabout in Somerset West, man. 50. Utopi birthday too? Did I miss a birthday there? Ooh, Topi didn't bother to tell us it was his birthday, trying to slip through. Look at that. Look at the old fellow trying to get through here without letting us know he had a birthday. We're going to have to do something about that. So that's the third birthday we're commemorating today. 1 belatedly and 2 today. Where is the cake? There's the cake. Happy birthday to you. Second hand, but no joy. What do you want second hand of? Okay. Sent you Nkambani media statement. Got that one. Thank you for the 35 Rand. What's that? ENCA President Ramaphosa has fired Higher Education Minister Nobule Nkambani. Yep. It is not America's responsibility to take care of the world. Can we please not talk about the refugees program for one day? I'm not talking about the refugee program. What are you talking about, Vegas? Okay, back to the bottom here. Was that a stripper chat? No, that's not a stripper chat. Darlene, yes, Darlene, I saw it yesterday, and I didn't cover the story because I didn't find any more sources. He just gave a super chat, so I'm addressing the super chat. Ronaldo's news about Nadia Pandora using the money of the foundation to fight against Christianity. Ah, okay. Well, that's news. I didn't know about that. That's a newsworthy. I thought it was about her visit to America. That's why I said I'm not sure what Ronaldo did on. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, slipped my birthday right past you. Ha ha. Freya, think you're clever, don't you? Think you're clever. Freya thinks she's clever. Ha. When was your birthday? When was your birthday? It's your birthday. And that's for Freya. 4 birthdays today. Haha, but hers has already happened. Another belated one. Yes, Madeline, those are sexy legs. Conscription in the old days was soldier. We were drafted to fight a war. Yep, now it's lazy nonsense. Yeah, the conscription today would be a bad idea for South Africa. Bad idea. All right. Military service here in UK is faltering. Some great committed people still in there. Recruitment is likely only to come from Islamists wanting to get paid for fighting. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And they'll just attack the force from inside like, that major did down there at Fort Hood, murdering soldiers. Settle down, ladies. The colonel has many wives, many countries. Rebecca, well said. And I've got Sloat Steenkamp, who is lusting after me, too. You give me something eyes. I have no idea what that is. Oh, okay. It was your husband's birthday on Monday. Okay. Well, again, with such a large audience, it's hard to keep track of this. So, belated happy birthday to him as well. I really need to move this cake so I can find it easier. Happy birthday. Please check my comment regarding theft from pensioners with refuse removal. Skippy, I read that. I read that comment. Were you not listening? I said it's not just pensioners. It's everybody. They're doing it too. City of Shawani is charging people who are paying for private services because the city has failed to pick up their rubbish. They're going to charge you. Do you think Cyril will get overthrown? Well, Bitcoin Boat, I did a video on that on the Truth Report. Yep, there's a video on the Truth Report. Let's see how that one's done. In fact, I got a comment from somebody earlier telling me it did very well. So hang on a second. It's the best one I've had on the Truth Report so far. Come on. Truth Report, let me go there. And it's got 50,000 views. It's not bad. Will Ramaphosa be overthrown? I covered that. Came out yesterday, 50,000. Yep. So here's the link to that if you guys want to check it out and go there after we're done here. That's the link. But don't forget the video I did this morning about refugees. Okay. So that's the link to the video on Truth Report. Okay. Birthday is 9 months after Valentine's Day. Interesting. Okay. Birthday's tomorrow. Now the sun's on the 1st. Okay, Corey. Mandela Day, says Avi. Okay. Wow. No, it wasn't the EFF, Charles. It was MK. MK's deadline has come and went. They promised to vote of no confidence this Monday. I need to do a video on that. That's but I've got in 30 minutes. I've got an interview I'm doing with someone about agriculture in South Africa. So we're gonna have to wrap it up here. Thank you all for being here. Philip Holtz, did I miss yours? Oh, that was the super chat for the weather. Thank you all for the super chats. The viewership, very low for today. Mondays usually have 1,300 people watching the live stream, and we usually have about 10,000 views. We've got 3,500 views and 700 people watching. half the audience and 1/3 of the views. That's odd. What's going on today? What's going on? All right. Yeah, Richard, yeah, your wife is clear of cancer. I thought you told us that yesterday. Congratulations. All right, that's going to be it, folks. I got to prep for this interview in half an hour. All right. Y'all take care. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button. We did a little better. We still haven't got to 700. Cheers. Bye-bye.